Hi everyone, Steve Hilton here, your next governor. I just wanted to talk to you today about our economy here in California. For so many millions of people, it is a nightmare to live here. People are working so hard, 2-3 jobs just to pay the rent, pay the bills. We have the highest housing costs, highest cost for gas, electricity, water, insurance. All of this stuff makes it so hard for people. But at the heart of it is work, because it's work that brings in the income to follow our dreams, to live our life. But right now, we have the highest unemployment rate in America. That's outrageous when you think about California and our reputation as the state that represents more than any other state in America enterprise and innovation and hard work and hustle. I mean, it's just unbelievable that that's what's going on. That's the result of all these Democrat policies we've had now, 15 years of one-party rule, making it so hard to do anything. That's why jobs aren't being created here, because it's so expensive. The regulations, the hassle, the permits, the endless bureaucracy. Businesses are leaving, jobs aren't being created here, and at the same time as we have the highest unemployment rate in America, you hear people saying that there is a labor shortage. Not enough workers, we have to import immigrant workers, illegal immigrant workers. You've heard Nancy Pelosi say this, Hunter Biden the other day. Who's gonna pick our crops? Who's gonna clean our hotel bedrooms, he said. It's so offensive the way they talk about it. Jobs that Americans won't do. They say we have a labor shortage in California. A labor shortage when we have the highest unemployment in America. Even beyond the unemployment figures, there's another one that's even worse in a way. Something called the labor force participation rate. That is the proportion of the potential workforce, the adults who are able-bodied, who are working. And right now, it's one of the lowest we've seen in decades in California. Just over 60%, 62.2%. If we had a labor force participation rate in California that was as good as what we've had in the past, there would be millions more Californians working. So this is what's actually going on. You've got the highest unemployment in the country, one of the lowest labor force participation rates we've had, and yet people saying we've got a labor shortage, even though you've got millions of Californians who could be working who are not working. How does this play out in the real world? I'll show you, because this is what I've been hearing on the road. These are the conversations I've been having. Let's start with this conversation that I had just a couple of weeks ago at the State Fair in Sacramento. What do you do?
Well, I used to work construction.
Construction?
I got tired of chasing a goddamn dollar to make a living. Us locals cost too much damn money.
So what's happening?
They're going after the cheaper labor.
This is an actual example of everything I've been saying. So we didn't set this up, we just met,
No,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just met.
Literally just met
Right.
here at the State Fair. And this is what I keep saying, that all these business people, they say, oh, we need illegal immigration because we need the labor. We got the labor, but actually they want the
labor, but they don't want to pay the price that they need to pay for the labor.
And that's why they have the illegal immigration,
Right.
because they don't have to pay the proper rates, they don't have
And
to
they
do
don't
the...
have to pay for their medical. They don't have to pay for any of their proper things that they have to need to live here.
I have 2 kids, and I live with my mom because I can't afford $2,800 a month for a 2-bedroom,
And
1-bath
the fact is,
apartment.
my husband-
Apartment, not even a house.
My husband passed away January of this year.
I'm sorry.
So because of him passing away, I need him.
Come on. I'm sorry.
I need him and his wife to be with me to make sure that we get things done. It happened.
Good, you want something?
Now we have to survive.
Well, you shouldn't have to just survive.
No, we shouldn't have to. But because of everything that's going on,
You want strawberry?
this is what ends up
You want
happening.
grape?
Well, listen, this is why I'm running.
I understand that.
This is why I'm running.
And I'm glad you are.
But it's not just about people not working because employers won't hire them. It's also about what they're paid. We also have, remember, as well as the highest unemployment rate, the highest poverty rate. Not long ago, there was a survey. It found that 35% of Californians cannot afford to meet their basic needs. So it's about what you get paid as well, your earnings, your income. So watch this conversation in Chico, in Butte County.
I used to work on a farm when I was younger. When you get these illegal immigrants in, they're making not much money, then I don't get paid much money. Because
why is
they're
that?
working cheaper, and any businessman, why should I pay this guy $4 more when I can get him over here for this amount.
So you felt that what you were being paid came down to match them?
Yeah, it's economics.
And there's a way of thinking about it, which is the point you made about healthcare. So they don't get healthcare from the employer, they get it from the state. That's paid by taxes. In a way, you're paying for their healthcare.
Yep. I'm disabled. I can only do things so much, and then what little I make goes off to here to help other people out that aren't here legally.
So you see the picture here, this equation that doesn't add up. People are not being hired because it's cheaper to have illegal immigrant labor, and people aren't being paid enough to live on because the illegal immigrant labor is cheaper. And then on top of that, the point about healthcare. That's a big component of the cost of hiring someone. Employers are hiring illegal immigrant workers, they're being paid less, and they're not paying health insurance. Well, guess who is paying health insurance? You are, the taxpayer, because at the same time as all this is going on, Gavin Newsom just announced in his budget that he is increasing the amount of money that we spend for illegal immigrant healthcare, free healthcare, Medicaid, for illegal immigrants that employers aren't paying. And this whole thing is crazy. And there's one more component to it that's even crazier. And so I want you to watch this conversation at a dairy near Modesto. I mean, tell that story. It's an amazing story to me about the dairy workers and their partners.
They don't get married on purpose.
Why is that?
Government programs. We've seen mail torn up on the side of the road, and we looked, and the partner of the dairy farmer is making more than the dairy farmer.
And this has all come through government subsidy programs that allow people to stay home, not work, and get subsidized from things from food, housing, cell phones, health insurance. These are all the programs, you put them all together. In California, they're equivalent to making $50,000 or more per year. And it's really hard to get someone to come off the couch if they're going to make $45,000 a year, which in most places in the world consider that a great wage.
We are actually paying people not to work. You're paying people not to work. Your taxes are going to pay for welfare that enables people to earn more money by not working than people who work full-time incredibly hard in our ag industry. This is totally insane. And so here's how I'm going to fix it. We have got to get rid of this insulting phrase that you hear the whole time when it comes to work and unemployment and immigration, jobs that Americans won't do. I worked in kitchens washing up. I worked on construction sites. I know what it's like to work hard. I've always worked hard. Americans work hard, believe in earning a living, not getting handouts. That is the American spirit. That's the California spirit. We've got to bring it back. Listen to my friend Batya Ungasaran, who's been so strong on this point. She was on my podcast, Big Ideas Book Club.
The corporations will subcontract out so they can hire illegals who they don't have to give benefits to, so they don't have to have worksite protections, so they can pay them less under the table. It's revolting. And then to protect themselves from the fact that they are lining their pockets with benefits and wages that belong to their working class neighbors, they'll say, oh, these are jobs Americans won't do. And it is the biggest myth around. There's no such thing as a job an American won't do. There's a job an American won't do for those wages. Meat packing, okay? This used to be like the job to have. The conditions were great. Working hours were great. Pay was great. Benefits were great. Now it is a job that is done by illegal teenagers. It is unbelievably dangerous. It pays nothing. The conditions are terrible. The hours are insufferable. It's not the work itself that's inherently undignified. It's the conditions. It's the reward.
So I just won't accept that there are jobs Americans won't do. We need to make sure here in California that everyone who could be working and earning a living is working and earning a living. And there are a number of things that I will do as your governor to make that happen. First of all, we are not going to be subsidizing employers to hire cheap illegal immigrant labor and not pay their health care. We're going to stop funding illegal immigrant healthcare. That $12 billion, that's gone. But equally, I don't want to raise the costs of business. I ran businesses. I started companies in England, here in California, including restaurants. That is a really tough business. The margins are tiny. It's really tough running a business in California. So I want to lower the costs of doing business in California. I want to make it easier for businesses to grow and expand and hire people, not harder. That's why I'm going to end the bureaucratic war on small business. We're going to get rid of all these ridiculous regulations and the PAGA lawsuits, Private Attorney General Act. It's an absolute scandal. Extortionate scam lawsuits that are making life a misery and raising the costs for businesses right across our state. I've got a plan to get rid of that. Check it out on my website, stevehiltonforgovernor.com. So I'm going to make it easier to run a business. I'm going to lower your costs. And here's the central point. I want businesses to be paying their workers, not the government. I want to make it easier for businesses in California to hire Californians to do the jobs that need to be done. We're going to stop subsidizing cheap, illegal immigrant labor so that we employ Californians. There's at least 3 million, probably more, Californians right now today, able-bodied adults who could be working but are not working, and we're paying them not to work. That's got to end. I want everyone in California to have a shot at the California dream, a good job where you make enough to raise your family in a home of your own, in a safe neighborhood with a good school so your kids have a better life than you. That's what California is all about. And at the heart of it is the hard work that is so central to our spirit here in California and to the American spirit overall. I know what it's like to fight for change, to fight bureaucracy, to try and make change happen. I was senior advisor to the Prime Minister working in 10 Downing Street. I know what it's like to get results. I was a project manager in a construction company. You've got to focus on the details. That's what I'm going to be all about as your governor. We can do this. We can make change happen, but we have to fight for it. We have to vote for it. And I would love your support. Join this movement for change at stevehiltonforgovernor.com.